Hey guys, it's Yessie Bieber. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be answering some questions related to my pregnancy. Obviously, I couldn't ask you guys, what to ask me, so I made up a few questions. Questions that are like most common, and I feel like you guys would want to know, especially women that want to get pregnant in the future. You might want to know like my experience and stuff like that. So if you are interested in all of that, make sure to keep on watching, and yeah, let's get started. So the first question is, were you planning on having a baby? So my boyfriend and I were not planning on having a baby. We obviously wanted a baby in the future, maybe like 4 years from now or something like that. But yeah, the baby was not planned. It was very unexpected, and it just happened. But they say the best things happen when you least expect them. Number two, how did you feel when you found out you were pregnant? I'm sorry if there's like noise. I'm really hot, so I had to open up my window, but I hope you guys don't mind that noise if you do hear something. How did you feel when you found out you were pregnant? So when I found out I was pregnant, like, if you have seen my other videos, I did mention that I already had the feeling that I was pregnant. My body just felt very different, so I kind of assumed like I'm pregnant. I did have scares before, but none of them like felt like this time, so I kind of assumed like, I'm pregnant. So it was still shocking though, honestly. Like, even if I already thought about being pregnant, I was still very shocked when I actually saw the result, like on the pregnancy test, and then when I went to the doctor, it was just very shocking, honestly. My boyfriend and I were very surprised, and it took a minute to kind of like take it in and be happy, because I was worried. I was just overthinking. My mind was thinking many things, like, what am I gonna do, when the baby comes? Like, I don't have my own place, like, blah 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 blah. Just a lot of stuff went through my head, so it was very conflicting. But now I'm super happy and I'm super excited. I'm obviously scared, but that's just a part of life. Nothing is easy in life. Number three, how many weeks were you when you found out? So when I found out, I was around 5 weeks. And yeah, that's like the common time when women find out that they're pregnant, I guess. I think I saw that online. Number four, did you suffer from morning sickness? So actually, I was extremely lucky to not have suffered from morning sickness. I thank God, because I have a fear of vomiting. Like, that's literally my phobia. So I have emetophobia, and I was just praying to God that I wouldn't get morning sickness. My mom actually suffered with that whole morning sickness for 3 months when she was pregnant with me. 3 months straight, every single day, 2 times a day, she would throw up. So since she's my mom, I thought that would pass on to me. So I was like so scared that it would happen. But thank God, like, God listened to me. He listened to my prayers, and I did not vomit, not once. I'm gonna knock on wood, because I mean, now I'm already 5 months, but let's knock on wood just in case, you never know. But I did get nausea. It was never to the point where I had to gag, though. Never, thank God. Number five, what are some of the symptoms you have experienced in the first trimester and now in the second trimester? So this is gonna be a long one. Like, I'm gonna be speaking for days for this question, because I have a lot of symptoms. So for my first trimester, I did get nausea, like I mentioned already. I had some pelvic pain. I had this awful taste in my mouth, like metal. Literally, like if I put in coins in my mouth, it was that bad, to the point where I would need to chew gum all of the freaking time. However, it did not last like every single day. It would be like every 2 or 3 days for my first trimester with the whole tasting metal thing, which is a weird symptom that pregnant women get. But yeah, I had headaches, awful, awful headaches. Like, I guess since I didn't have the morning sickness part, I suffered from headaches. And these headaches were really, really strong. And they would last for hours. Luckily, when you're pregnant, it's like okay to take one Tylenol. I asked the doctor as well, and she told me that I could take that, so I took it. I tried not to take it all the times that I had a headache, but the times that I just couldn't resist it anymore, there was like this one time that I had a headache for like 6 hours straight, and I just gave up. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take it because I can't. It's really, really bad. It would not go away. So yeah, headaches, nausea. I had that nasty taste in my mouth. The pelvic pain. What else did I have? I had tender breasts, which is obviously like, I think all pregnant women get that. I was very hungry. Oh my god. Especially like the first few weeks that I found out. Like after I found out, I was super hungry. Like my hunger was unbearable. It felt like, how do I describe it? I don't even know how to describe it. But as soon as I would wake up in the morning, like I needed to eat something or I would feel nauseous. Like I had to have something in my stomach. And even after eating something, maybe like an hour later, I'll be hungry again. I'm surprised I didn't gain like 20 pounds in my first trimester because I was so hungry. Eventually that faded away though. Maybe like 11 weeks up or 10 weeks up, it kind of went away. It was just like the very beginning, which is kind of weird that it happened so fast. But yeah, I was so hungry. I still have actually this thing where I cannot smell McDonald's. So I had food aversions, which is basically when you cannot like bear to eat something or like smell something. So for me, it is McDonald's until this day, even in my second trimester. Every time that I smell McDonald's, I want to gag. It's so disgusting. It's like the smell of the oil is super, super strong, and I hate it so much. I work in children's place, and where I work, there's literally a McDonald's right next to us. So like a lot of customers go in and they smell like pure McDonald's, or their children are eating McDonald's, and I just have to walk away from them because I start getting so nauseous. It's really bad, guys. I cannot smell McDonald's. I actually went into McDonald's yesterday and like 2 days prior to yesterday for lunch break, but not to eat any like french fries or cheeseburgers or anything like that. I went in for hotcakes, and luckily it did not smell in there, so I was completely fine like ordering the food. But when people go in my job with like bags of McDonald's, oh my god, I just want to die. It's so disgusting. I cannot bear to smell it, to think about it. My dad in my first trimester brought me McDonald's, and there was nothing to eat at home. He's like, I brought you food, and I'm like, I'm not eating that. Like, I'm not gonna eat that. I'm starving right now, but I'm not gonna eat that. I'd rather eat like a soup from a can or something. I'm just not gonna touch that. So I did not touch it. And every time like my family eats McDonald's, I try to stay away from them. And I get super nervous when they go through like a McDonald's drive-through, because I'm like, what if I like want to vomit since they're eating this in the car? But it was never like, the smell was never that intense. But for some reason, when I'm at work and people smell like it, it's super intense. It's really bad, and I have to like just walk away and not think about it anymore. So I've had so many symptoms that I have to check my app. I had frequent urination. Obviously I still have that. That's something that all women go through because of the pregnancy hormone. I already mentioned breast tenderness, but also breast changes. So my boobs were getting a little more, big, which is like the good part to pregnancy, I guess. So I should have mentioned this when I mentioned the food aversions. I also had a craving, and I actually have not had cravings like from that day on, to be honest. Like, I'm not craving anything. But it was around maybe 7 weeks, and I was at work, and I was craving fish soup so bad. I like eat fish soup not very often, but I love fish soup, and that day I just had to have it. I know it probably sounds gross, but it's like this Ecuadorian soup, and it's called en cebolla de pescado. Oh my god, it's It's so good. But like that day I was fiending for it. I was at work and I was thinking of like what to eat during break, and there was this place that I used to go to around my job, but it was pretty far. Like you still need a car to get there or you need to walk. But they had closed down. They were, they would be able to deliver to me since they were close to my job, but they were closed down and I was upset about that. So I went on Uber Eats and I tried searching it, and luckily I found a spot which was really far from where I work. They took really long, but it was so worth it because I ate the whole thing. It was expensive, and I usually eat it with white rice, and they did not send me white rice, so I was pissed, but I ate the entire soup. I didn't care how much it cost. I was craving it, and I needed to have it. So I also had fatigue. I was extremely tired. I felt very lazy going to work. I would just be very moody, angry, because I was so tired. And I guess the last one for my first trimester would be excessive saliva. I just had a lot of saliva in my mouth and it felt super weird and I felt like I needed to spit. Yeah, it was bad. Luckily I don't have that anymore. Alright, now moving on to the second trimester. I took a while for that first part of the question. So now I have experienced actually a lot worse than the first trimester. I haven't experienced like nausea. I think that was just all in the first trimester. But now that I moved into the second trimester, I actually experienced dizziness. And in my app it says that it's very common for women in the second trimester to like faint and have these dizzy spells. And I had it once. I was in the kitchen, I was making a bagel, and I had to stop like in the middle of making the bagel because I started getting so lightheaded and my ears started ringing. Once my ears start ringing, that's like a sign for me to like calm down and go sit or tell someone that I'm about to faint. I have fainted in the past, so I know what that feels like, and it's terrible. It feels like your soul is leaving your body and you lose consciousness basically. So I was very, very nervous that I was going to fall, and being pregnant is even more scary. So luckily my brother, he has his bed set up in the living room. He has a sofa bed, and I went onto the bed and just laid down and I put the AC on before that. So I just laid down for like 3 minutes and I calmed down, just looking into, not even, I actually closed my eyes and just started to calm down, and I felt my body feeling cooler and better. I got very, very hot. My ears were hot. Like I just felt terrible and very dizzy. So luckily I went and laid down on his bed, because if I didn't, I would have fallen, to be honest. And everyone was asleep and there was no one to help me. So just like my first trimester, I have had still headaches. It's not every day, thank God, but I do get the really bad headaches, or like the light headaches that are super annoying. So I've had that. I've had round ligament pain, which is basically, since the baby is growing, I was getting, well, I still get pains on both sides of my lower stomach. So that was actually scaring me. And I felt a little more calm when I Googled it, and it said that women actually go through that in the second trimester. And it would be like these really sharp pains. It was actually last week that I was getting these sharp pains on I think it was first on my right and then my left, like the next day. So it was very worrisome for me. And it just feels like a lot of pressure. It feels like you're about to get your period, but it's a very different kind of pain. I don't know how to really describe it. Yeah, but I get that. I got heartburn a couple of times already in the second trimester. I actually had it like 2 nights ago, and I had to take a Tums because it was that bad. Like, it felt really bad. It feels like you're kind of like about to vomit because you feel like the acid building up in your throat. It's nasty. I get backaches now as well. Really, really sucks, especially when you're not home laying down when you're at work. Yeah, not cool. I have bleeding gums as well, so when I brush my teeth, it's very common for me to see like blood. Even if I go very lightly, my gums start bleeding. Everything that it's crazy because everything that they list in the app, I have a baby app. I have several, but there's one that I use more. It's called What to Expect. They name so many symptoms, and I experienced like more than half of them. It's crazy. So I have experienced the baby moving pretty much every day. She's very active now. There was a point where, I think last week, she wasn't very active, And I get very worried. I have like this anxiety towards it, you know, like, is she okay? Is she okay? But now I feel her all the time, which is very, it just makes me feel better when I feel the baby. She moves a lot. I've actually seen like my stomach move now for these past 2 days. Like, I guess it's her little feet or her little hands poking me. It's so cute. But it feels really weird. Like, let me just tell you, it's like a pressure in your stomach. I also go through stuffy nose and runny nose. I don't know if the runny nose is a part of the pregnancy, but or it's just my allergies, but the stuffy nose is definitely a part of the pregnancy, and I have that not every morning, but I have it a lot of mornings, you know, when I wake up basically, and it's super annoying. What else, guys? I have so many symptoms. This is crazy. I told you this would be a long response. So, I forgot to mention that when I first went into my second trimester, I was getting the metal mouth again. And it was so bad for the first, like, 2 weeks. It was every day. Every single day for 2 weeks straight, I had this nasty taste in my mouth. I tried eating sour candies, sweet stuff, spicy. Nothing helped it. Nothing. Luckily, after 2 weeks, it completely went away. And I was like, thank God, because this is so bad. It was so, so bad. It actually made you nauseous, you know? Now I'm kind of getting that again, but it's not as strong as before, but I still have that. So I'm dealing with that on my second trimester as well. Alright, moving on to the next question, because this is going to be a long video. So the next question is, have you had any cravings? If yes, what have you craved? So like I said, I already kind of answered this. I did have cravings in my first trimester. It was that time at work where I needed that fish soup. Now, it's like I'll think of something and be like, I wish I had that. But it's not like I need to have it right away. Women, they'll get cranky and they'll be like, I need to have this right now. No, I haven't. I haven't had that yet. Number 7, do you have any food aversions? So I basically answered this already. I'm answering all my questions in that in number 5. Like, what? Yes, McDonald's. And I didn't mention, good, because this is a separate question. I also really can't smell Burger King. It's like, it's still a nasty oil that they use. It's very strong as well. The only like fast food I can really bear is maybe Popeyes, because it doesn't smell bad, and Wendy's. I've been loving Wendy's during this pregnancy. Number 8, what is the most difficult thing about being pregnant so far? So I think the most difficult thing about being pregnant is just being very tired and feeling like you don't want to do much and not being able to do much as well. So like if I go out to with my mom to go food shopping, I can't pick up heavy bags and she has to be in charge of everything, or like tell my brother to come downstairs and help her, or if my dad is home to help her. Like, I can't pick anything up, you know? Same goes with work. I can't pick up any heavy boxes, so it gets very annoying for me because I'm used to like being so fast and picking stuff up, and I can't do that anymore. And I would say just getting bigger and not being able to fit in your jeans like you used to, and seeing your body the way that it was. That's probably it. Everything else, like I've had a smooth pregnancy, thank God. But I do have my fair share of like bad symptoms, so I guess that would be like probably the worst out of everything. The bad symptoms, like the headaches, even though I always used to suffer from headaches, but you know, every bad symptom that I've had, like the pelvic pain and stuff like that, is definitely like the worst part of being pregnant. Number 9, have you felt the baby move? Yes, I have felt the baby move. I mentioned that in number 5. I literally answered every question in number 5. I have felt the baby move. Like I said, she was not as active, but I feel like this week, I'm 21 weeks, and I'm going to be 22 weeks in 2 days. So she's been moving around a lot. I even saw my stomach move and stuff like that. So yeah, like I said, it feels weird. It feels like this pressure in your stomach, but it's so cute to like experience. And I always feel her move when I'm eating, which is crazy. Or I play music. My mom plays music. We all play music in this house. We're very, into music. And when I play Ariana Grande, she moves around a lot. Number 10. Do you have any names chosen? I do have a name chosen. It's already done. I've had this name chosen since I was a kid. That sounds weird, but I always said, I always thought, if I have a baby one day, I'm gonna name her blank. So, yeah. Number 11, how do you plan on giving birth and why? This is the last question, finally, because this video is super long. So I was actually, I really had to think about this because I have this fear of giving birth, always have. I used to always say, I'm not having kids. I told my parents, you guys are not going to be grandparents for me, and look, first person to have babies. But, my mom says that giving birth naturally is no joke. She went through 2 pregnancies, my brother and I. My other brother, my younger brother, she had a C-section. She said that was the easiest pregnancy. The other 2, however, were really bad, especially me, because I was the first baby she had, and she was 48 hours in labor. First of all, I cannot go through that. I can't even imagine being in labor for 48 hours and having contractions every 2 minutes. I can't think of that, honestly. And your vagina stretching, no, it's not for me. So I spoke to her about it. She said it's no joke, the pain, especially because she didn't have an epidural for her pregnancies, so she was really strong. She suffered through that pain, and she wanted to. She decided to not get the epidural. I knew that if I wanted to go through a natural, a vaginal pregnancy, a regular pregnancy, like every woman pretty much does, I would definitely have to have an epidural. I can't speak today. I would definitely have to have an epidural because I cannot go through that pain. But even with the epidural, you have to wait till you're 7 centimeters open down there. So that means I would have to be all of those hours in pain. I know every woman is different. Every body is different. I could be in labor for 7 hours. I could be in labor for 40 hours. We don't know what's going to happen, But it's very common for a woman with her first child to experience many hours of labor. Being in labor for many hours. And I cannot imagine myself going through that pain. It's not that I am a wuss, but I just don't, I can't, I guess you can call me a wuss. I just can't go through that pain. So I decided that I'm going to have a C-section, and it is your choice now, which is super cool. Back then it wouldn't be a choice. It would just be if, the baby, great, there's a boat honking. It would just be if your baby's upside down, or the baby's too big. Then they would have to perform a C-section right away. But they give you the decision now to plan a C-section. So I would have to choose a day, or they give me a day and I go in and I have my surgery, and then they take the baby out from my stomach. The thing is, I'm going to suffer maybe for a month or 3-4 weeks, whatever. Well, 4 weeks is a month. But I would say maybe a month. I'm going to be in pain because of the cut. The wound. I have to make sure that it doesn't get infected. I have to go to doctor's visits so they can remove the staples, however they plan on doing it. But honestly, I'd rather go through that than giving birth the natural way, because I just don't think I can put myself through that pain. So I would rather just have a C-section. And I actually saw a video of a woman giving birth. I've never seen an actual video of a woman giving birth. They showed literally everything, by the way. So seeing her down there, I don't want to sound immature, but it scared me. The way that the birth canal stretches, it's really freaking crazy how life works. And you see the head coming out, and it just scared me. I can't go through that. I'd rather just have a C-section. Let them take the baby out my stomach, and voila, I'm good. I know I'm gonna have a scar, but it's not gonna be too big anyway. And I really don't care. My boyfriend could see the scar. That's the only person I'm gonna be with, so I'm not gonna be insecure about it. But yeah, I have decided that I'm going to get a C-section because I cannot think of me being in labor for so many hours, suffering with pain, backaches, like extreme pain. My mom says it's like extreme pain. And she even told me, like, it's tough. Like, I don't know how you're going to do it. Like, at least she's being real. She's not lying to me. So that opened up my eyes. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get a C-section. And everyone's like, why are you going to get a C-section? Like, they think it's this horrible thing. But they don't know, well, I don't know myself, how, you know, being in labor for several hours is going to be. So I'm just going to have a C-section. And the due date is April 10th. Hopefully I can choose that day. I actually like that day, April 10th. So yeah, we shall see. It's going to be so funny when I upload this, and I have already experienced all of this. But that's pretty much it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to share this video. Don't forget to comment. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more content. I love you guys so much.